because the doctor apparently didn't regard me as serious enough to get the bullets out.
Well, yes.
I thought it was very serious.
Yeah, yeah. But we all understand that they've got to prioritise things, don't they? Yeah.
And by the time they came along to see me again, well, I was recovering somewhat.
Yes. So that's you're in hospital, say February and maybe part of March.
Yeah.
But you went to Burma in May 1942. Now, with A Force. Now, did you volunteer for that? How did you get?
Yes, I did.
And any of your mates volunteer as well?
Oh, yes, practically all of the men that went up there.
Do you remember some of the particular mates that went up with you?
No, I don't remember.
No. All right. So when you went up there, was it the Toyohashi Maru? Was it? So what was it?
Yes, I was in the Toyohashi Maru.
Yeah. How many days did it take to get up to Burma? And I understand you went initially to Victoria Point.
That's right, I went there. I don't know how many days it was.
Yes.
Travelling.
Would it be 7 days, 10 days, something like that, or?
Oh, probably 7 days.
Yes.
Mm.
Now, were you aware that Claude Anderson was at Victoria Point?
No.
No. Did you know Phil Bealby was at Victoria Point?
Oh yes, I know. I met him afterwards.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Did you ever hear about a medical orderly who attempted to escape from Victoria Point and was caught and executed?
Yes, he was.
Goulden or something like that, a name like that?
Goldie
or something like that. Yes, yeah. So after a period of time, at Victoria Point, what sort of work were you doing?
I don't remember that.
No, no airfield work or on the wharves or in the town?
On the town or out to the ports, I'm not sure.
Yeah. Where did you sleep there? I'll tell you why I ask. Phil Bealby seems to remember being in a big shed with a concrete floor, and he was very uncomfortable to lie on the concrete floor. He said it would be better to lie on the ground. Does that ring a bell at all?
In the go down.
Yes, yeah.
We were quartered in one of the go downs.
Yes. Now, let's say the middle of 1942, and yet in October 1942, construction of the railway commenced from Tanbazayat in Burma. Do you remember being shifted up there at all?
I can't recall the journey up there.
No.
But I can remember being
in Tanbazayat.
Yeah.
And you were now part of, and had been all the time a part of Green Force, were you?
Yes, but we were now inducted, I think, into A Force.
Yes, yes. So it was the whole lot were gathering there.
3,000, I think.
Yes, yes.
3,000 of us in that lot.
Do you remember the names of any of the doctors at all?
I think Claude was there, but I may be mistaken.
Yes. Do you remember having any contact with some older men, guys in their late 30s, early 40s, who were members of the 4th Reserve Motor Transport Company?
Yes, quite a few.
Do you remember any of their names?
I haven't thought of them for years.
No, no, understandably. And they were much older than you guys, weren't they?
Yes, they'd be 30 or 40.
Yes, yeah. It must have been harder for them.
Yes.
Yeah. Because Claude always says that he had to protect them. He had to really look after the Reserve Motor Transport guys because they were less able to cope with the Japanese demands.
Yes.
Yeah. So if construction commenced then, and it took about a year, do you remember any of the camps that you were in as you worked your way down the line?
we were in 2 or 3 camps after that, and I remember we finally graduated to the 105, which was my worst camp.
Ah, yes. What? If you closed your eyes, can you remember anything about the layout of 105 camp? Did you have a stream nearby? Did you have a well? Do you know where the railway was in relation to it?
There was a well, there was a stream down to the right, and the Japs camped about there. And we were camped in number 5 hut, or that might have been later.
That stream, was it deep enough to bathe in?
Yes, I think.
Could you go and wash yourself in it?
Oh yes, you could go and wash in it.
Yeah. Were there any elephants in the area?
The occasion one came through with a boy driving, or one of the natives driving it.
Yes.
But we didn't see large numbers of elephants there.
Any coolies in the? Was there a coolie camp nearby?
Yes, right next to us.
Were they close to this little creek as well?
It was certainly downstream.
Downstream. Thank goodness for that. Yeah. All right. So, were you ever unwell there, and did you ever have to go back to 55 kilo hospital camp?
I never went back there, but it was about a recurring effect of malaria, and it was one stage I got very bad, and I was in there for an indefinite number of weeks. I don't remember how much or anything much about it. But then I started to recover.
Now Phil Beelby was in 105. I know Phil was in 105 camp, and he tells me he had a ulcer on his hip the size of a saucer.
He did have.
And someone gave him some, I think some either emetine tablets or something, which he crushed and put into it, and it healed. Now he also seems to remember a doctor by the name of Captain White, who was a fellow who used to limp. His nickname was Hoppy White. Does that ring a bell at all?
Just a moment, about a medication.
Yes.
I was given or obtained some medication, and I used it on these limited amounts, and I used it on my ulcers, on the ankles.
Yes.
I was starting to go in the way of the ulcers.
Yes.
I put these on and they healed that up. So I never mentioned that to you before.
No. You didn't. You're not the person that gave Phil. It's like someone gave him those tablets.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but okay. So you don't remember Hoppy White, and you don't remember whether Claude was there at all.
Well, he should have been, because yeah, I think he was.
Yeah. Now let's talk about the guards. Are there any particularly bad Japanese or Korean guards that come to mind at the moment?
I can't remember the name, but there were 3 or 4 of them. Rather, they were very bad. Yeah.
Yes, brutal.